I'm really embarrassed because we are on day 1369 in this world, and despite that, I'm still living inside of my starter house. So today, let's totally destroy this starter house and build a ginormous mansion on top of it. Inside of this mansion, I also want to include a storage area because right now, this is my storage system, and I'm not very organized here. I also think a great build style for this mansion would be something similar to this cherry blossom village we built over here. I really like the new cherry blossom block, and so I want to experiment with all the potential uses it has. I think messing around with some cherrywood designs on this mansion could be really cool. The only issue is, I don't have any more cherrywood left over. Well, the Lorax would be very disappointed in me, but we have broken, all but one. Looks like I missed one. All but one cherry blossom trees. I just wanted to make sure I definitely had enough wood to complete this because I'm not sure how big I'm gonna make this mansion, but I know I want to make it pretty dang big. Before we go back, I will plant a few more saplings around here. Even though this is like 1,000 blocks away from my house, I feel bad cutting down on the trees, so I'm gonna replant some just so there's some for the future. Honestly, they probably won't even grow while I'm away, but you know what? It's all right. All right, so I think our first step here should be getting rid of this house we have so far, as well as probably this carrot farm I made for no reason, and then also the concrete farm we have right next door. Just get all the old builds out of here, and then we can excavate the land a bit to give ourselves more room to build this mansion. I'm sorry, little farm. You're cute, but we don't need you anymore. So I'll put a few chests out here just so we can keep some of our materials in here. So we should be all set. It should be pretty easy. The only annoying part is I'm gonna have to move all of these chests, all of these items, which might take a little bit of time. Okay, with all of our old builds gone, I think the next step is to naturally excavate this whole area, removing a lot of dirt. I have no idea, again, how big I'm gonna make this, but this whole area I'm walking through with the trees and the grass, it's gotta go. We're gonna need a lot more room, honestly, and I think it'd also be cool to have this sort of mountain as the backdrop to the mansion. It's gonna look really cool. I've also got to remove this old dirt path from when we built the iron farm. This thing's really ugly. Well, here we have it. The entire area flattened out. Now, I assume this area will be big enough. It's pretty dang big, but if I need to expand it a little bit more or potentially expand into this lake, then I may do that whenever I decide on an outline. I have some ideas for this mansion in my head, and I've messed around with some block palettes on a creative world, but I want to improv it for the most part, so what I want to do is lay down a bit of a foundation for this, or at least, you know, get the general dimensions, and see how it turns out. Alright, here I've got a good outline for the house, I think. We have the main house in the middle, and then over here we have two little sections jutting out front, and then this is the little entryway. We have these two little nice areas in between, which might just act as space for a garden, or maybe I'll make some custom trees or a patio. So I guess all we have to do now is build the main frame of the house. I have a couple ideas of blocks I want to use, but definitely a focus on cherry wood. So let's see what we can do. Okay, well, before we continue, I'm gonna need some glass. So, we're back at our classic sand mining place. I think I'm only going to use glass panes, so I don't need too much glass, but I've only got a couple stacks at home, and we're gonna need a lot more than that. Okay, so let's start filling in these windows. This might be a little tricky. Let's see, how can I do this? Okay, I just have to be very careful where I click, and we should be okay. After we get these windows filled in, we'll work on a roof and decorating the outside. Alright, you know what? This is starting to look okay. I mean, it definitely lacks detail, but you know what? It's big, and it's starting to look pretty cool. Detail will come in a little bit of time. Before we detail the walls, I want to get started on the roof. I'm not exactly sure what block I'm gonna use, so I'm gonna test a few and see how they look. Okay, so my top two winners are either polished diorite stairs or brick stairs with cherrywood. I feel like I like the brick just a little bit more. I like the reds and pinks. It's a fun color palette. The diorite is nice, but all the white is kind of flushed out and doesn't stand out how I want it to. Plus, I've still got a really good amount of cherrywood left, and I should have enough bricks because the bricks are only going to be on the border, so I only need a couple stacks of brick stairs, and I have a lot of clay from farming in the past. So I don't think I'll need more, but if I do need more, I mean, I've got a big river right here, which is full of clay all over the place, so I should be okay. And then cherrywood, well, I've got cherrywood growing here, around the zoo, around this village up there. I'll have enough, and I can just replant it if I need more. So I guess let's work on building this roof and seeing how it turns out when we're done. Well, this is where I'm at with the roof right now. I like it, but I'm not in love with it. Gotta change something about these glass panels. I want them in here because I want the light from the sun to help light up the inside since it's so big and it'll be hard to light up. When I don't have brightness turned on, it's pretty dark inside still, but it's a lot better with these glass on the roof. But I really like the brick and the cherrywood. Let me know what you guys think down below, or if you have any suggestions as to how to change it. As we put details around the house, I'll obviously put some on the roof, so it'll change a little bit. So with this done and just a temporary door and porch in place, let's fill up this entire inside so that it finally has a floor. And we can also work on slowly putting details on the outside. I want some gardens, I want a pathway. I think I'm gonna expand this land a little bit more into this river. And we have to put a lot of details around the house. But overall, I really enjoy this base. I like how large it is, and I think it's a great foundation for a nice house to come. Plus, the cherrywood is really unique. There's not many blocks in Minecraft that really look like cherrywood, but there's a lot of blocks that go really well with cherrywood, so I'm excited to see what we can figure out. I'm probably just going to play around with a bunch of materials and figure out what looks the best. Well, after a couple hours of detailing work, I'm really proud of where we're at right now. So here is the front of the house. As you can see, I did a little bit of landscaping with the gardens, added some bushes in front and a walkway. This all is just sort of temporary. Once we're finished, you know, it's going to be sort of fledged out throughout this entire area. The roof, I messed with the glass on the roof a lot, and this is the best I could come up with, and this is what made me happy. If we fly up here, I decided to just fit the bricks into the already existing roof, and then just add some slabs and some glass, and I think it looks really cool. Now, the outside of the house is fairly minimal with just the cherrywood and the bricks, but something about it, I really like the look. I feel like it gives that elegant, rich look that I'm looking for. And then we have bricks and trapdoors around the windows, which I really like, and of course, some cherry blossom trees around. Now, this whole surrounding area will eventually be covered with a bunch of trees, gardens, maybe small fountains or ponds here and there, as well as I'll bone meal it all up and add some pathways, but this is just sort of a little start to get a feel for the vibe of the area. Now, unfortunately, I still have a ton of chests out here, which just keep getting filled up with a bunch of random materials. So, what I want to do before we start decorating the inside of the house or finish decorating the outside is create a storage room. We have a nice big space inside of here, but I think the storage room would be best suited for the bottom of the house. So maybe right over here would be a good spot for it. I don't know. We can create some sort of descending staircase leading into an underground storage room area. I think that would be our best. That way we can finally get all those chests out from there and put them under here. Right now the chests are kind of ugly and I'm just not a big fan of them stinking up the outside area that could be really pretty. I also expanded this land piece as well as the land piece by the zoo by a lot. I also filled in just some dirt and a little bit of sand and bone meal. This so that it looks more natural, this sort of water area. I didn't want a sharp cliff like we have with this island right here, and it's just kind of floating. So what I'll probably do is either right here or on this side of the B, create a pathway, and then eventually a bridge right here so that it'll lead to the house. I'm really liking this. This is really fun. Plus, we have these gorgeous mountains in the background, which really fit the scenery. The house itself, though minimalist and I like it, is a little bit bland. So going forward in the future, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might add some more trapdoors of different kinds, or we'll get some details like some vines and some bushes and leaves growing on the house. Or once we have some trees around the house, it might just blend in all itself. I'm not sure. We'll have to just give it some time and see what happens. But right now, I'm still pretty satisfied with where we're at. I love the huge windows and the huge walls, providing a ton of brightness, and it doesn't really have much privacy, but I like it because I'm the only one in this world. So let's get working on a storage room here. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do this, and I'm definitely not making an automatic storage system. I don't like automatic storage systems. It just seems too much effort for what it provides. I like keeping things organized myself. That way I know where everything is. Alright, so I've got the basic storage room finished. I'm not going to decorate it just yet, mostly because I want to get all my stuff in here first. So right now, it's just a very basic design, but I'll have some sort of method to my organization, putting certain types of blocks or items in specific areas of this room. I want to work on moving all this chaos first. I'm really liking this house though. I love how roomy it feels. It feels like I've got so much space, and also I love the huge windows, being able to see all the amazing things I've built right outside my house, like our temple with the armor stands, our zoo, our sniffer island, and all the other incredible things we've built. Now that we've got the outside cleaned up a little bit more, I think what I want to do is right around here, I want to add a bit of a pond slash garden area. This whole area is really flat and blank, and so I think it would be really cool to have something here. I could probably have a path continuing from this pathway in front of the house through this garden area, and it should be really nice. Truthfully, one of the most underrated building hacks is by using bone meal, because bone meal is magical. You can take a boring looking grass plane and use a bunch of bone meal, and suddenly this entire area comes to life in magical ways, and I really love this. I think it looks absolutely amazing. I had my particles turned off, but when I turn them on, it looks even better. I love this. Maybe I'll get some spore blossoms around here, and it can look nice. But I really like this. I like the look of this garden grounds and then the pathway. I like the slightly overgrown look with all of the flowers and grass and sugarcane. It really brings it to life for me. Gosh, the Endermen have really done some work doing their own decorating in my house. But what I want to do is really quickly grab a water bucket. I need to collect some tropical fish. There we go. So over here, let's breed a couple more axolotls, and I want to get some babies so that we can throw them in our ponds over there. They'll really make a nice addition, I think. Yeah, this whole area looks way better than it did before. It used to just be a blank dirt patch with a small little wooden house. This all is a lot more grand and beautiful. I'm a huge fan of it. Okay, and then here we have a few little friends to protect us, as well as provide a little bit more life to this area. I'll have to farm some more tropical fish in the future so I can, get even more axolotls, because they're just so dang cute. I love them. I would also love to put some frogs in these ponds with the lily pads, but honestly, frogs just jump away too much. You can't contain them. They can jump up to 15 blocks, so there's really no use in me trying to keep them in a tiny little pond all their life. And with that, I believe our work on this lovely house is finally finished. Like I said, I will be expanding the gardens and pathways a bit more and adding a little bit more detail, as well as detailing the inside, but that'll all happen on a live stream where I can also get input from you guys. So if you care to join me, make sure to subscribe and keep those notifications on. But that's all for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, as it really does help me out. But my name is JWhisp, and that is all for today's video. I hope to see you all in the next one.